Good morning and welcome to Rise and 9 on Wednesday, December 10th. It is feeling like a December day outside.
Yeah, no kidding. What a way to start a day. It wasn't so bad when we came into the office in the middle of the night, still pretty warm temperatures in the Cedar Rapids area. Upper 30s, my car was saying, so the roads were just wet. It's a very different story outside now.
Yeah, that changed very quickly, especially in Northeast Iowa, where we were pulling up on some DOT snowplow cameras, blowing snow, that rain and wet stuff on the road turning to ice. Lots of schools up there they first started out delaying, are now canceled today.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, those higher temperatures when the show started this morning around 4:30, well, by the time we were wrapping up the morning show around 7, temperatures down in the 20s. Quite a bit of swing just in the morning, taking some of those wet roads and turning them to ice.
Right, you maybe think, well, at midnight, halfway through the night, that's when it gets coldest. No, it gets coldest right before the sun comes up. So that's what we're seeing now, those cold temperatures. And you just don't know when you're driving. When it's wet, it can turn to ice and you have no idea. It just all looks the same. Even when it's dark, you can't even tell that.
Yeah, and even worse, like you mentioned, up in Northeast Iowa, some of those DOT cameras we were seeing, very scary conditions out there. We're seeing lots of schools up that direction cancel for the day or even have a 2-hour delay all across the viewing area.
Yeah, and this is so strange to not have a lot of snow coming down out of the sky. It's just the impact of some freezing drizzle that's coming down, but also that snow melting and refreezing on the roads. And also those winds, 40+ mile an hour, can blow the snow if it wasn't encrusted in that ice that we got.
Yeah, I know the Iowa DOT had posted on Facebook that, it helped that temperatures were warmer yesterday. It kind of helped put a layer of crust on the snow, which they thought, helped with kind of the blizzard conditions that we were worried about. But still seeing a lot of blowing snow on some of those cameras. You really need to be careful this morning.
And on top of that ice you could have both at the same time. I remember in Missouri when I worked, that freezing rain was so hard to drive through because there's not much, there's not much plows can do about that. Any pre-treatment can just get washed away, and then you can't scrape ice off the road. It's very tricky to manage.
Yeah, and something the city of Cedar Rapids posted that they're asking people to do is actually clear out the area in front of your storm drain. Now, we always hear every winter to make sure you clear the area around fire hydrants in case of an emergency, but this was a new one for me to hear about. So the storm drains, they say because the snow that is melted, a lot of those storm drains in the city are blocked by snow still, and they're worried that melting snow won't be able to get down into the sewer system, and then that will create more water on the roads, and with temperatures like today and then colder even headed into the weekend, that could freeze.
Right, I was surprised how much snow, that rain that we got yesterday, or maybe just the warm temperatures, how that melted away snow, and that all goes to those storm drains and brings sticks and leaves with it too.
Yeah, anything we can do to eliminate more ice on the roads would be a good idea.
Right, and something we were seeing in parts of the entire state, not really a whole lot here in eastern Iowa, is power outages. Poweroutage.org, I believe, is the website I was looking at. It said around 3,000 customers were without power, most in southwest Iowa, but there was around 1,000 at the last check in Polk County. So a power outage is much different in the winter versus the summer.
Yeah, and I forget exactly what town we saw it in too, but there was even a pole that fell this morning
Was that
out in
Pleasant
Des Moines
Hill?
area.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, well, that was because of those heavy winds. So yeah, the power could of course be impacted. So it's just one of those days we got to get through winter weather in Iowa. Unfortunately though, this is just one of 3 systems we're watching this week.
Right. Along with that power outage is when you have that freezing rain, it makes things heavy, and then you have that wind behind it. Can be very dangerous, but not seeing a whole lot of impacts from that, it seems like, quite yet, at least here in eastern Iowa. But yeah, more snow ahead tomorrow, and then even some on Saturday. We just can't catch a break this week.
I know. Some later week snow and then some weekend snow, and we already have so much snow on the ground. The snow piles are so high in some of those parking lots especially.
Right, I was trying to pull out of a parking lot on Monday, even before this, and I'm like, I can't even see to get around.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I noticed one like that yesterday too. So we could use some melting, but of course when temperatures are dropping, then that just makes the melting even dangerous because then we're worried about ice.
Just one hazard just leads to another one, and it just stay home if you can. I know a lot of people can't, us included, but just have to take some extra time, be patient, don't be in a hurry like this.
Yeah, just be very aware of what's going on out there, and we all, if you're from Iowa, we all know how to handle it best we can, but ice is hard to manage, so just got to be extra careful today especially.
Even when you're walking too, that can be dangerous to slip and fall. That hurts so bad. It feels like it hurts worse in the cold.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody's done that at some point, like slipped, or like you're trying to get into your car and it's a little slick. Maybe you don't go all the way down, but yeah, just be really careful there today because that ice, it's hard to see. We had a picture in the morning show where the road looked clear, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, I think that was out in western Iowa. It wasn't our viewing area, but the sheriff there said the road looks fine, right? But it wasn't. They had cars even getting stuck on the roadways. I've heard of that happening before when you can't get up a hill or something. It just makes a whole big problem.
Yeah, I've experienced that just on my driveway, so I can only imagine how scary that'd be if you're out in traffic and you got stuck.
Yeah. Well, something else that is scary that we're monitoring this morning, a new warning from the FBI about an online group targeting teens to commit violence. It's called 764.
Yeah, and the FBI says that this group, 764, is trying to cause chaos through sextortion is one of the methods. And so targeting teenagers to either harm themselves or harm others and then live stream it.
Or even harm pets, just terrible things. And then yesterday, a mother testified to lawmakers that her son, age 17, he was one of these people who were affected by this. He ended up taking his own life, and she wants this to stop. And there's not the only instance of that. There have been more than 2,000 reports of either that group or others similar to that just in the first 9 months of this year. That's twice as many as last year. So it's a problem that's growing very quickly.
Yeah, and they're basically doing this like if you think of blackmail. So they're convincing these teenagers, to send images of themselves and then kind of using that to push them in order to commit violence. Yeah, it's very sad, very scary, but just another reality online. So yeah, something to be aware of for sure.
Yeah, and U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley is one of the senators pushing for new legislation because while there are state laws, there's really no federal law, as far as my understanding, that really addresses this. So they're trying to get the legislation to catch up with what these criminals are accused of doing.
Yeah, and a reminder that if you're struggling or if you know somebody that number is 988 that you can call, and that puts you in touch with a local person who can help.
Yeah, available 24/7.
Yeah, a great source there. We also want to talk to you today, also related to online, but Australia has put in a ban on social media for children under the age of 16. This is the first place to do it.
Right. I know we've talked about in Iowa, Governor Reynolds signed a law limiting cell phones in schools during instructional time, but this is all the time.
Yeah, this is all the time. And I mean, even just with the Iowa schools, limiting cell phones during instructional time, I know we've had multiple stories on our air where we've heard from students and from schools about kind of how's it going now with this. And it genuinely sounds like positive feedback. Students saying, we're talking to each other more, and teachers noticing less distractions. But yeah, like you mentioned, the difference here is this is an outright ban for certain apps. So it's popular platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, Kick, Reddit, Twitch, and X, that in Australia, if you're under 16, you can't use.
Right, a big change there. I know I've been in a lot of school districts doing the Student of the Month stories, and you'll see that it'll be like a shoe rack holder or a cabinet or something where they put their phones away. And it does seem like the students are talking to each other more, paying in class. I know there's always a way you can get around that. They're so creative, but it is different this year.
Yeah, and this is just such a different topic to comprehend for people like us or even older than us who didn't grow up in school at a time where there was social media like this. We did not have, there was some social media while we were in like high school, but we didn't have the smartphones, like just the access to it 24/7.
With you all the time.
Yes, I know. I wasn't even allowed to have, Facebook was pretty new. I wasn't even allowed to have one until I graduated high school. And you definitely couldn't access it on your phone. We were still using T9 to text each other. So this is just a completely, something that's gone really fast to get to where we are today versus then.
Right. I remember I didn't get a cell phone until I was 16. I thought it was the worst thing ever. But yeah, very different that parents have to navigate a whole other world. But maybe one plus side, I did speak to a police officer who said if there is a positive, that any online bullying is documented, that they can go back and see what happened. So, it's just something complicated that their lawmakers and nations are trying to figure out.
Yeah, kind of a paper trail that way, but also so hard because that stuff happens so public now, just making it even harder for kids in some cases. And so, yeah, this is something that I know people are watching to see, how's this go in Australia?
Right.
Will we see this spread to other places?
Or even what your choice is as a parent, is your own individual family, what you're going to do when to decide to get those cell phones for your kids.
Yeah, such a hard thing. I know my kids are so little, but so they don't have phones yet, and they aren't even asking for them, you know, or iPads or anything like that. But we do try, obviously my husband and I have a phone. We try, you know, not to have them out at the dinner table, little things like that, just to try to, you know, set an example. But it's hard. We use phones for everything.
Right, and you catch yourself just scrolling and all of a sudden an hour goes by like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. It's hard even as an adult.
Right, and you may be wondering how all of these apps are going to do this. How are they going to successfully, like, you know, monitor this? Well, the apps say that they're going to use age verification technology in order to comply with these bans. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how it goes there in Australia. But yeah, kids there today, first day, where they don't have that access if they're under 16.
Right, something to watch out. And maybe something you've noticed here, we have a Christmas display up. We have some lights, and we are looking very Christmassy in our outfits too.
I know, once again, unplanned. But yes, we kind of coordinate very well today. I've got green nails, you've got red nails.
Right,
look at this.
red nails. And my boots, I don't know how to show them, but they're the exact shade of your top.
I know. It's very funny how this continuously happens to us. But yeah, we walked in here to our streaming studio room this morning, and these Christmas lights were here. So that was just kind of a nice, you know, if it's going to be terrible outside weather-wise, at least there's some holiday cheer.
Oh, no, I love seeing it in my home and seeing more pop up all the time. It's nice. And it does even make it easier to see when you're coming into work at 3 in the morning.
I know, yeah. All the more lighting, the better. But yeah, it just kind of makes it so pretty. And I am okay with some snow leading up to Christmas. It makes it feel more festive. It's after that, when it's snowing in March, that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever.
Gray, and it's not even snow. It's just like slop at that point.
Yeah, can handle it right now. But yeah, the ice is something that can be really tricky. So obviously, be very careful out there today.
Right. I remember when schools would delay or get canceled, because my mom was a teacher for most of when we were growing up. We'd be asleep, like Mom'd be like, okay, wake up, and then we'd be like listening for the phone to ring, and she'd say it super loud, be like, oh, Postville, 2-hour delay.
I remember,
yeah. And it's not really the same with apps.
I know, yeah, speaking of technology, it's also available, obviously, like our KCRG News app. You can see it. I'm sure your schools are contacting you directly via email or with those automated phone calls. But I remember specifically sitting in front of the TV as a child here in Cedar Rapids, watching KCRG, watching the bottom of the TV.
If you look for a second, you'd miss it.
Yes, just waiting, okay, where's the C's? Cedar Rapids, public, okay, snow day. Yeah, it's, you know, you had the suspense build up, and then it'd skip your school sometimes. You're like, oh, okay.
Better get ready to go again.
You gotta get on it today.
Oh, I know. We'd still have to do chores either way, though.
Yeah, that doesn't stop.
A little more time.
Right, yeah. Always fun when, you know, you had that little change in your schedule to spice up your winter.
Right, and hopefully for the people who do have to be out, you can be safe today.
Yes, wishing you all a very safe and hopefully stay warm day ahead.
Well, thanks for joining us for Rise at 9.
Have a great day.